Hi, I'm Dana Schwartz, and this is Rise or Die, the official companion podcast for Peacock's original series, Those About to Die. On this podcast, I go behind the scenes with the show's cast and creators to learn how they brought their brutal vision of Rome to life. I talked to acclaimed director and executive producer Roland Emmerich.
When I saw the first race, I was like giddy.
Actor Ewan Ryan.
For an actor, that's a dream, although you do get a lot of sand in your sandals.
And so many more.
You helped summon those ghosts back onto that stage.
Every day when I went to set, I was giggling about what I saw.
I think it's going to be a breathtaking thing.
People will freak out.
Rise or Die launches on July 18th. Watch or listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Contained herein are the heresies of Radolf Buntwine, erstwhile monk turned traveling medical investigator. Join me as I study the secrets of the divine plagues and uncover the blasphemous truth that ours is not a loving God, and we are not its favored children. The heresies of Radolf Buntwine, wherever podcasts are available.
Hey, hello. It's me, Jenny, and also Kristen.
It is me. It's true. It's a true fact. My name is Kristen, and I am here.
Between you and me, the episode hasn't actually started yet. This is just the intro. Welcome to it.
It is. We want to give a reminder to you all that every month we handwrite 5 lyric sheets, and we donate the proceeds from those lyric sheets to an organization. This month, that organization is Time's Up. Time's Up is a unified call for change from women in entertainment for women everywhere. We normally do 5 lyric sheets, but we are adding another 5 this month. We sold through the first 5, and obviously all of the organizations that we raise funds for are very important, but to honor Eliza Dushku for coming forward with a story that had to take so much courage last week, we wanted to add 5 specifically to be able to donate in her name. Many of you, most of you, probably read Eliza's story. It was horrifying and heart-wrenching, and we just want to say we stand in solidarity with her and with so many of the women who are coming forward with their stories. We want all of you to know as well that this conversation isn't going to end with us doing 10 lyric sheets. Jenny and I are in continued conversation, and we're happy to hear from all of you because we want to keep giving back to this cause specifically. We want to keep putting our work, our energy, our efforts toward lifting up the many survivors of sexual assault, abuse, and harassment. You can find out more about our lyric sheets over at bufferingthevampireslayer.com/greatergood. There's also a link right at the top bar. If you just go to the website, you'll see that month's organization. You can click on that and it'll take you there as well. So again, we're adding another 5, and you'll be hearing from us in the coming weeks about other ways that we're brainstorming now to give back even more.
Yes, and thank you to those of you who have already ordered a lyric sheet specifically for this month, supporting this work. We really appreciate it. Now, meanwhile, across the internet, I want to tell you that we have a Buffy watch coming up on Patreon in February. We have not selected the episode yet, but Wiley Kristen has put up a poll on Patreon. So if you're already a patron, you can vote now on what episode we're all going to watch together. And if you're not a patron yet, you can go to bufferingthevampireslayer.com and click on Patreon, and you can learn all about membership, subscription, support, a beautiful community, and also watching Buffy with us periodically. Cool.
Yes, now hopefully you're not a person who skips ahead during these announcements because, oh boy, do we have a big one coming around the bend. First, though, let me remind you that all of our merchandise is back in stock except for one thing, the Randy for Giles pin, eluding us. The pins were shipped to Australia. They're being shipped. It's been a whole situation. But everything else is in the store, and one day we will have Randy for Giles pins back in stock as well. You can find all of that, of course, on our website, bufferingthevampireslayer.com. Just click on Shop.
Now, what's that enormous announcement, Kristen?
Well, Jenny, I'm so glad you asked. See, we are rounding the bend here in the universe of Sunnydale to a very important time in a young person's life. Whether you're skipping it or you're going to it, it has meaning and it has impact. And it is the prom.
The prom, you say?
The prom, I say.
What does that have to do with me?
Well, if you live in Los Angeles or you have a lot of frequent flyer miles, you might be excited to learn that Jenny and I are hosting a Buffy the Vampire Slayer prom at the Ace Hotel in Los Angeles on March 10th, 2018.
Now, I'm just hearing about this for the first time right now, but I can tell you definitively that there will be dancing, there will be music, there will be swag bags, there will be a photo booth, there will be a costume contest. It will be, as the young people say, if Gabby Dunn were here, she would say it will be lit.
Wow, Jenny. It will. I mean, you're right. It will. And Gabby Dunn, I hope, will be there and will be saying, you know what, Jenny? This is lit.
Jenny, you were right all along. This prom is lit.
Now, you are probably already, you've turned off the podcast because you're running to just Google Buffy prom tickets. How do I get them? They are not for sale yet. This is your heads up. And here's what we're going to do. We're releasing all the tickets next week. It's not a large space, so space is limited. Please be advised. If you go to bufferingthevampireslayer.com/prom, you will find out all of the information, the start time, the ticket price, the whole shebang. And you will also see a link to sign up for our mailing list, our brand new mailing list. And what we're going to do is we're going to send an email to everyone on that mailing list 24 hours before we release those tickets. So you get the heads up and you're ready to roll. So again, that's bufferingthevampireslayer.com/prom. And you will find all of the things you need to find. Oh my gosh, Jenny.
I'm losing it. What am I going to wear?
You're going to play some live music, aren't you?
I am going to play a little bit of live music.
You're going to play some 90s songs too, aren't you?
Yeah, I'll play a couple 90s songs.
Great.
But mostly I'll be busy dancing.
Yes, you
as
will.
you know.
And we will be starting now trying to figure out what we are going to wear.
Yes.
To the prom. So many choices for us.
I've never been to a prom before.
Wow, your first prom
My
is a Buffy prom.
Oh,
God.
Okay.
Anyhow, couple other little things. One, we heard from Jack Plotnick last week, Deputy Mayor Alan Finch, and we're going to hear just a little snippet from Jack at the beginning of this episode, which is exciting. Two, next week is an off week for us, so if you are a patron, you get a mailbag episode next week. But if you're not, you must bide your time until the 31st when we come back with Doppelgangland.
Doppelgangland!
Holy shit.
To Buffering the Vampire Slayer, a podcast where we are watching and discussing every episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer one at a time.
Spoiler free.
My name is Jenny Owen Youngs.
And I'm Kristen Russo, and this week we're talking about Season 3, Episode 15, Consequences. Stay tuned at the end of this podcast every week for an original song written by us recapping the Buffy episode we are discussing.
Consequences was written by Marty Noxon and directed by Michael Gershman, originally aired on February 16th, 1999.
That's correct. Also,
just 2 days after Buffy and Faith observed Valentine's Day.
You mean Gal Palentine's Day?
Yes, that's what I meant.
This is the one where a homicide detective... You're going to love this.
Am I?
This is the one where, according to IMDb, a homicide detective closes in on Buffy and Faith as he investigates the deputy mayor's death.
What?
What?
Wow.
Like,
any excuse to center the guy with the widest tie.
Yeah. You think the guy that played the detective wrote the description?
Yes. Yeah.
This is the one about the detective who is trying to crack the case. I'm like, no. Dude, you had a scene.
No.
It made me laugh, though. I think it's good. It's a little off the mark, but...
This is the one where a lot.
Yeah,
this is
Season Faith episode Chains.
Oh, my goodness.
Am I right?
You are correct, at least in part.
It's hard to do this episode, isn't it, Jenny? Because we just did Bad Girls, and
things are different now. Within the first few moments of this episode, I became certain, beyond the shadow of a doubt, that Faith and Buffy would not be sexy dancing at the Bronze in the next 45 minutes of my viewing.
When I, maybe 10 minutes into the episode, I had this thought that was like, man, Bad Girls is when you first start dating your girlfriend, and then consequences is
when
like
you break up.
It's like, no, it's like when you've been, well, I mean, I guess when you break up, but more like the way that Faith talks to Buffy in Bad Girls is like, oh man, I have so many feelings and they're so exciting. Oh man. And then in Consequences, she's like, she may as well have stubble on herself, like a beard that she has not shaved. She is like tired and worn out. They've been married for 20 years.
Sure.
And she's like, girl, leave it alone. So we've come a far way with our lovebirds.
Yes. Long have they traveled. And listen, that dunking in this opening dream scene.
Oh, wait. Before we get into the specifics of the episode, I just want to take a moment because Jenny and I have been watching on Hulu, but we recently brought the DVD player upstairs. And I said, why aren't we watching the DVDs? We have everything set up. And Jenny was like, oh, right. And then we'll get to watch the DVD menu. For those of you watching on the DVD set at home, I am so sorry that we have not discussed this. We haven't seen it yet. And opening credits are pretty bananas and amazing.
Yeah. When you first insert the disc into your DVD player for the uninitiated, you need to get to the menu that will show you which episodes are on the DVD. But before you can get to that menu, there's this music that's like wow, like very late 90s dance music, but like the aggressive Prodigy coming up, I think, for the second time. Prodigy-esque.
Well, it's funny because what I was going to say is the music is really appropriate for the one clip that they do show of Faith and Buffy dancing.
Sexy dancing at the Bronx.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was like, maybe they picked the music solely to accompany that clip.
Maybe they picked the clip solely for me.
I think both are true. So anyway.
The dunking.
The dunking.
The dunk tank.
The dunk. So last episode, I sat down with Jack Plotnick. We talked about Bad Girls. It ruled, but we also talked about Consequences just a tiny bit, this scene. And we didn't want to tell you that we had more of that interview because we didn't want to spoil the fact that he was in this little bit of this episode. So we have something to share from that with you. It's a very fun story that Jack had to tell about this scene. But before we share it, do you want to talk about this scene a little bit?
I just want to talk about when Buffy comes up and breaks the surface of the water and Faith is there and like you see sort of like from below Faith's hand coming down towards Buffy's face / the camera. And then it cuts so that it's above her hand and you see her hand pushing Buffy's head down into the water. It just looks like her arm looks like a wet noodle. She just doesn't look like she's pushing very hard. But then they cut to like a sort of side shot and that looks legit. And I'm sorry that it was just for me, I guess.
Thanks for Jenny's
listening.
Investigation.
Thanks
Not
for
to be
listening to our amazing podcast.
Anyhow, this is the first scene. It's what we open on. It's before the credits even hit, and it's really haunting. And obviously, it sets the stage for the rest of the episode, and
the pure lack of sexy dancing.
Yes, and it's the direct bridge. You know, we've just left Bad Girls, and we're like, what? And they're like, remember? And we're like, what? So let's just jump over to Jack real quick and hear the story that he told about filming this scene. We see your character again, and you are underwater, and you are pulling Buffy down. It's a dream sequence, but you are underwater, and I would love to hear about what that was like.
I was probably trepidatious. I'd never done underwater stuff, and what happened was that they said, okay, so we're gonna do this thing underwater, and if you want, you can get in the water and feel what that feels like and check out the temperature, and it's nice and warm. But there was no like training or anything. It was just, you're just gonna do this. And I was coming from a place of, yeah, I'm happy to do it. And how long do I have to hold my breath? And they said probably 30 seconds. And I tested and I knew I could do that. And so I really didn't know what I was gonna do. I just knew I was gonna be in the water at some point. However, the scene kept getting pushed. And so, you've got all this adrenaline, you're sitting in your trailer, you're waiting for the scene to happen, and it keeps getting pushed to later and later at night. And Eliza was on set as well. And I went to her trailer, and eventually I was like, well, I don't think this is going to happen for a while, and I'm so hungry. And so I had this big ham sandwich, ate the ham sandwich. I think I even had a cigarette with Eliza in her trailer. And they're like, Jack Plotnick to the set, please. Jack Plotnick to the set. My heart dropped because there's something you can't do after you eat a ham sandwich and have a cigarette is hold your breath. Right. By the way, I don't smoke anymore. I haven't smoked in years and years and years, and I can't tell you enough how important it is not to smoke. So please don't make the stupid decisions I made when I was very young. And I never smoked seriously. I would just, on set, it was fun to have a cigarette if another actor was doing it because it felt cool, Hollywood James Dean. But that was the only reason I did it, was because Eliza was so cool when she did it.
I was going to say, anytime, if there's ever a good time to smoke a cigarette, it's if Eliza invites you to her trailer to have a cigarette. So
anyway, there's nothing you can do. You're called to set and you're on. And I was freaking out because my stomach was now full and I was all night not eating because I didn't want, okay. So anyway, so I get in the water and they explained to me the shot, and this was really sucky. They go, okay, so here's how we've set up this shot. You're going to go under the water. A guy in a scuba gear is going to grab your foot and hold you underwater. Now, the camera is going to slowly pan up your body, up to your face, then on your arm to your hand holding the stunt woman's leg. Okay, that's the hardest way to shoot the scene because it just makes everything 10 times longer.
I was going to say that doesn't sound like 30 seconds.
It was a nightmare.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really scary that it had, that they were doing the shot this way because it just meant everything was longer. Yeah. So anyway, however, we did it and it was scary and uncomfortable and I just never wanted to. I think we probably did, let's say, 3 or 4 takes, and I was very glad when it was over. Look, they didn't mistreat me at all, and it's my fault. I ate that ham sandwich, but it was definitely not more than I could take, but it was intense and a little scary.
Yeah.
And then I'll never forget, it was the last time I was on set, and the last time I saw Eliza on set. I'm all wet, and I'm getting back to my trailer, and it's now so late at night, and she steps out of her trailer and says, "Good night, Jack." She's in a gown because she's headed to a party. And I went, you go. Like, I just love that about her. She wanted to go to this party at like 10:30 or 11, and it's now like 2 a.m. and she was going.
Wow.
She had the dress and she was going.
Oh my gosh.
So I loved that about her.
Incredible.
She was just a cool chick.
So fun.
Yes.
Just so fun. When we watched it through tonight, I had heard that story already and just kept imagining Jack full of a ham sandwich. I just think it's so fun that the more little tidbits we gather about Eliza Dushku, I don't know if I'm saying her name right. I'm sorry. I feel like I've said it that way my whole life, but then
We've been advised to say it Dushku.
Dushku.
Or Dushku. Dushku.
Jennifer.
Thanks again for listening to our amazing podcast.
I want a ringtone that's just you trying to pronounce Eliza Dushku's last name.
Someone wrote us a very convincing email.
Dushku? Dushku. Dushku, Dushku.
Someone wrote us a very convincing email stating that the correct pronunciation was having the first syllable rhyme with push. So, Dushku.
Stop it!
Okay.
Anyway,
Eliza.
What I'm trying to say about Eliza is that I love that as we, journey forward in the podcast, we start to gather these tidbits from people, like the script we read in the special episode with Nerf Herder.
Right.
That had been signed to them from Eliza that
Sure.
was like, hey, man.
Yeah.
Whatever. And now we have this story that's just like Eliza, like, busting out of her trailer at 2 a.m. Like, she had the dress. She was going to the fucking party. And I'm just saying, like, my fantasies are coming true.
Sure.
They're coming true one by one.
Yes.
The bricks are laying down to
Great.
form this perfect, I've lost the metaphor, but you know what I mean?
I know exactly what
I'm
you
having
mean.
a good time.
Me too.
Alan and Faith dream happens. Buffy wakes up in some very romantic angel lighting. We haven't seen angel lighting this good since season 2.
Wow. And whatever the hell time it is, Joyce is watching the news. But did it look on the news like it was daytime or something?
I know, I couldn't figure it out. I was thinking the same thing. Like when I was watching the scene, I was like, wait, is it the middle of the night or is it the morning?
Maybe it's very early morning.
That's what Joyce does. She
watches the
at
news
5 a.m.
She's
to
like,
watch
give me
the
your
news."
best murder stories. What do you got, news?
That's so fucking Joyce, though. Joyce loves a good murder mystery.
Yeah.
Totally.
She's all about any opportunity to say, isn't it just awful?
She is. She's almost as disturbed as she was with those 2 dead children.
Right. Alan, Deputy Mayor Alan, discovered by fishermen.
Yes.
Who dutifully handed him over to the Sunnydale PD.
So then we go to the credits. We know the gig is up. The body's been found. Faith is good at a lot of things, but not lying and not dumping a body.
No, those are her 2 weak spots.
2 weaknesses. And we go to the library where, hey, green mug, what's up?
Oh, yeah.
Little green mug alert. And Wesley. Wesley is around, and guess who is meeting Wesley for the first time?
Oh, yes. Yes.
Oh, did you have other Wesley things to
Well,
discuss?
Wesley assigns them to the case, even though technically it's out of their jurisdiction.
Yeah, this is a little odd.
And Faith is unflapped.
It's like Wesley is suspicious of something, which doesn't really add up with the information he has. You know what I mean? Like, I guess because the mayor is involved and they know that the mayor...
I don't think that they know the mayor.
So what the fuck, Wesley?
Yeah, it's curious.
It's curious indeed. But anyhow,
but regardless,
speaking
that's
of
not
things that
the
are
best.
curious,
Oh yeah.
how old is Wesley? I mean, he's
Great.
certainly not 241. So you know, he's got
advantage, Wesley.
He's got an advantage over at least one character in this show.
But we have to assume that he is an adult.
An adult.
And he believes that Cordelia is
a teacher.
Which is fair because Charisma Carpenter is like
same age as Jenny Calendar.
Years older than everybody else, right?
Yeah. I mean, Cordelia isn't the same age as Jenny Calendar, but Charisma Carpenter is the same age as Robia Lamorte.
So we get where Wesley's assumption is coming from, but then we get this great moment where the fucking fly-by-night Giles just like sweeps through the back of the frame that Wesley is in and is like, she's a student.
Cordelia has a couple of really great lines. One is like, what are you, Giles' next generation?
So good.
Really solid. And also, I like a man with 2 last names. Yeah, you do, Cordy.
Well, she also says like, it's about time we had some fresh blood around here.
Oh my God.
And then the way that he says, fresh.
Anyway, I would like to give Cordelia a jingle here.
Just for like being
existing.
Sure,
for being
great.
For being not like, I just feel like Cordelia for the last few episodes, as we discussed last week, has been one layer and it's just been one dimensional.
Right, antagonizing Xander.
Yeah, and I haven't been
mean.
into it because we know there's more there, and not that she's fully present here, but she is returning a little bit in the scene, and I would like to give her her jingle.
Cordelia, I love you, Cordelia. You're perfect, Cordelia.
Yes.
Thank you very much for obliging, for granting me my wish.
But of course.
I don't know if you know this, but I hold a lot of power. I say play the Cordelia jingle, and it shall be played.
That's what happens. It's almost as if you waltzed into my library and said, I'm your commander now.
Oh my God, seriously.
He needs to relax.
He needs to relax. And this scene, like, okay, we cackled, we giggled, we laughed because there were some funny things, but also like, yeah. I would like to bring us to the t-shirt that Faith is wearing. It says Motion City Baby. And
interesting.
The first person to figure out where I can fucking get one of those shirts can have whatever they want from the store.
Wow.
Whatever they want. 2, 3. You can have
It's
4 of whatever you want.
What? Pandemonium.
I just really want the shirt. The shirt, like Faith wearing the shirt, stirs up in me. Jenny and I just watched Lady Bird, and watching that movie like stirred up in me all of the nostalgia of my youth And I think it's up at the surface because I just saw Faith in that shirt and I had like 100,000 feelings.
Yes.
It's good. It's just, that's it.
There were just feelings related to your youth, though. They were
My like gay roots. My like gay.
Yes.
It was like Faith. The way Faith looks wearing that T-shirt is like my teenage fantasy. Like not even. I didn't even have fantasies as a teenager.
Sure,
I didn't know what a fantasy was. But it was like the thing. Even when I think back on my first relationship with a girl, like when I remember her, it was like wearing a T-shirt like that, you know?
Yes. So Buffy and Faith go into a private classroom and close the door, and you think things are about to get awesome, but no, they have to talk about the dead guy again.
The dead guy is ruining everything. Deputy Mayor Alan Finch, you're really taking the fun out of Sunnydale.
Oh,
sorry, I didn't know where to go with it.
So Buffy is like so upset. She's so upset, and she just wants to do the right thing and be honest. She's a truth teller, and she cannot tell a lie.
She really struggles in this episode, and it is very like wonderfully done, I think.
Yeah, that conflict when like you want to like take care of your friend, but like ultimately in order to take care of your friend you have to do something that's gonna really bum them out,
right? And this is what we've been, a lot of what happens in this episode is what we've been like, why is no one doing this shit for Faith? It's like all of a sudden they were like, wait, why is nobody doing this shit for Faith? And then
they were listening to the podcast, and then they got to this episode.
They time traveled, they listened to the podcast, and they returned to the 1999 writers' room and said, pardon us, those girls had a good point. But yeah, I really feel for a lot of people in this episode. It's a really dark episode. It's really, I mean, it's what happens when people are bad girls.
Well, I don't know.
Just kidding. Just bring up that tricky metaphor all over again. But no, this conversation is very real, and Buffy is sort of saying like, we have to do this right thing, and Faith is like, no, we don't. And they do a good job of like allowing Faith to be ridiculously defensive, where you can see right through what she's saying, and also vulnerable in the first half, before Wesley fucks everything up.
Yep.
Where you can really see that like maybe there is a chance, just like everyone is saying. There might be a chance. There might be a chance to help her.
Oh, Faith.
Anyhow, so this scene ends, and then another sad scene happens where Buffy goes over to Willow. It's like, when you spend too much time with Faith and Willow's mad at you, Faith has killed a guy. What are you going to do? You got no friends left.
Yeah, you're all out of friends.
Yeah, so Willow is obviously very hurt.
Oh, Willow.
For justifiable reasons. And geez, Willow. The hurt that we see from Willow, I'm not even going to go in order. I'm just going to go on a little Willow tangent here. Because we see Willow and Buffy in this first scene where Willow is very strong and is very, like, I need to do this for Willow's really good. Like, she's very aware of herself and her needs, and like, she's still struggling with standing up for herself for long periods of time, but she's working on it, and she's able to do it in short bursts right now.
And she's so self-aware because her parents are psychologists?
I would say yes if we hadn't met her mother, but
okay,
I'm not sure. But yeah, I feel like she knows in this moment that she's been hurt, and that entitles her to get up and say she needs to go now. And she does that. And it's really sad, and everybody's sad. But then when we get to later on in the episode where she finds out that Xander has slept with Faith, it's like, I can't with the scene in the bathroom, Jenny. I can't.
Man.
I can't. No. I forgot. We just watched the episode and we're watching it again, and I still forgot who was in the bathroom. I was like, is it Faith? No, idiot. It's not Faith. They start crying in the bathroom. It's Willow. Of course it's Willow. And she just feels so left out. And dear God, if I have any emotion from my teenage years that is identifiable and, significant, it is this emotion of feeling like I'm not good enough or cool enough, and people aren't going to like me as much as they like this other cool person. And
right. Xander had sex with Faith without me.
Right. Wow, Jenny.
What?
Did you
a terrible feeling?
Like, were your teenage years fraught with emotions like these that Willow is going through as well?
Yeah, I mean, was anybody a teenager without those feelings?
I don't know.
I
don't
meet
know.
that person.
I mean, probably not, but I just feel like I especially had them, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Like I was especially sensitive and...
Right. Well, probably, I was feeling the same things that you were feeling, but you were probably like really expressing them. And I was not.
And you were like, I'm going to pierce my own ears to get out my grief.
And nose.
And nose and belly button.
That I didn't do myself.
I know.
Can we stop talking about that piercing, please?
I'm sorry. It's we're hosting a podcast that takes place in the 90s.
If anybody's got a belly button ring, it's definitely Faith Lane.
That's true. That
is prime belly button ring material.
Yes, you're correct. Before we leave the topic of me feeling like people might not like me when I was in high school, I just feel like I should very briefly tell this story of the fact that when I was in high school, I had a camcorder. If you don't know what that is, look it up. And we made movies a lot, and Scream had already come out, so we made Scream 2 before Scream 2 came out. And if I could get my hands on this tape, I would just do almost anything to get it. I'd give you 4 t-shirts from the store.
Oh my gosh.
Just kidding. That was a callback. What I mean to say is that we did Scream 2, and spoiler alert, I was the killer. And my character, like, we wrote my character to be like always home with like her friends having not called her, but that was like literally what was like, it was so mean. It was like my friends recognized that this thing was happening in real life, and then they wrote it into the script, and I acted it, and the end.
And you're still committed to calling those people your friends?
Yeah, I mean, it was high school.
As we've
Stuff was
discussed,
true. Nobody knew
everyone is an asshole in high school.
Like it's very hard to know what to do with your emotions and how to treat people. I mean, those friends of mine were friends of mine for like a decade. Like it wasn't just that like 1 year they were jerks and they left. It was just like everybody trying to figure out who they were and how to navigate that stuff.
Okay.
Anyway, a plot device that we used in Scream 2 was that at the time Burger King was giving out Dino Eyes because Jurassic Park 2 or 3 or 7 was coming out. I don't remember. And everybody had the Dino Eye watch. So every time you saw the killer kill somebody, you saw the Dino Eye watch in the screen, but everyone had one, so you never knew who it was.
Wasn't it you?
Yeah, it was me.
Okay.
Okay. Wow. I am so sorry to have taken us down that path. I was just determined to make sure that you all knew that I created the movie Scream 2 before Scream 2 was
Yes, a true visionary.
Support for today's episode comes from OneSkin. And if you have sensitive skin, you're going to want to hear about their scientifically proven topical supplements. Free from over 1,500 chemicals and preservatives that can make skin red, irritated, or itchy, their products are safe for sensitive skin. It's just one of the reasons they've earned the Skin Safe seal of approval.
They've also earned the Jenny Owen Youngs and Kristen Russo seal of approval, if I do say so myself, Jenny.
I couldn't agree more. I've been using OneSkin for a few months, and after a few weeks, I remember it like it was yesterday. I texted Kristen, and I was like, maybe she's born with it. I looked in the mirror that morning and was like, oh, things are happening, and I am happy.
I have used 1 billion skin products, and I did not think that I was going to switch off of the skin like lotion, the moisturizer that I used, and the under eye cream that I use, because I have used them for a little while and I really like them, and I've switched completely, which is a pretty big deal. OneSkin is the world's first skin longevity company. By focusing on the cellular aspects of aging, OneSkin keeps your skin looking and acting younger for longer. Get started today with 15% off using code BUFFERING at oneskin.co. That's 15% off at oneskin.co with code BUFFERING. After you purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them, and if you can, please tell them that we sent you.
As a podcast network, our focus is bringing you shows you love to listen to. But we also sell merch related to those shows. And partnering with Shopify has made that both possible and simple for us to do. Shopify is the global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business. Whether you're selling scented soap or offering outdoor adventures, Shopify helps you sell everywhere because they've got you covered, from their all-in-one e-commerce platform to their in-person POS system. What's so fantastic about Shopify is how, no matter how big you want to grow, They provide everything you need to get control of your business so you can take it to the next level. Businesses that grow with Shopify. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/realm. That's all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/realm now to grow your business, no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/realm.
Hello, I'm Simon Jack.
And I'm Zing Sing.
And together we host Good Bad Billionaire, the podcast exploring the minds, the motives, and the money of some of the world's richest individuals.
Every episode, we pick a billionaire and we find out how they made their money.
And then we judge them. Are they good, bad, or just another billionaire?
Good Bad Billionaire from the BBC World Service.
Listen now wherever you get your BBC podcasts.
Okay.
Speaking of Vision, wow. Angel is watching the forensic team from the shadows at the crime scene. And I have to wonder if Angel's looking at this forensic team thinking, perhaps one day I'll be on a successful, 10-season crime procedural. I should pay close attention.
Right. That. But also, this is his internal monologue, right? He's like, I am Detective Angel. Blood? Wait, I've seen blood before. Blood plus blood must mean blood. I am Detective Angel.
That was really good, honey.
Yeah. It's just like, come on, man.
Yeah, it's a lot.
You see blood, like he has his one memory of blood. Like his whole life is full of blood.
Listen,
literally.
He's only just begun to detect in this episode. He has much more detecting yet to come.
Good. So then the mayor is just so relatable in this scene to me. He's like, doing paper shredding usually makes me feel better, and it's just not working. And I'm like, I get you, man. How satisfying is a paper shredder?
So satisfying.
God. I want to shout out, because we don't have Kate in this episode, I want to give a shout out to Trick's velvet fucking jacket. Trick always is pretty tricked out. He's always wearing some very nice pieces of clothing, but the velvet jacket just
is really good.
Really nice.
Also, he's got a very important piece of information.
He does.
Which is that splinters were found in Alan's heart.
Which, ouch.
So ouch.
Like, ooh, what a way to go. That is, out of all the ways, that's got to be down at the bottom of the list.
Bottom of the list.
Anyway.
The mayor is delighted by this new information. Splinters in the heart of his dead deputy mayor.
Yes.
So psyched.
Yeah, so psyched. And someone else is at the mayor's office, actually.
Oh, just two girls breaking and entering.
Right? My note is ladies in the dark doing sneaky things. I just want it back,
Oh my gosh, they're going through Alan's office.
Yeah, they're looking through Alan's
Faith
files.
is looking at a photo of the mayor with Alan, and she's like,
oh, he came out of nowhere.
All emotional, and Buffy's like, girl, I know. And then Faith's like, whatever.
Yeah.
Guy stuff. Football. I've never had a feeling. I love killing a man.
Faith is a full cat. Like, Faith is a cat who's like just starting to get affectionate and then gets noticed. And they're like, what, me? I was just licking my paw. Yeah. I'm a cat and I don't care about you. I'm evil.
I think she might be a couple degrees past cat at this point.
Some cats, maybe not. But anyway, though, that was where I wrote Faith talks to be now like they've been dating for 6 months, I put here. I don't know. Because I gave them a short span for the demise of their relationship.
Wow.
But,
I mean, better to burn out than to fade away. Am I right?
Oh, wow, Jenny. So they find something in that they find nothing. And that is enough to say like, oh, and then they see the mayor and Trick. And they're like, oh, shit. And so you're right. This is really the first time that they're like, oh, the mayor is evil.
Yeah, we've been seeing that the mayor is evil this whole time.
Sometimes I forget that you're not actually Buffy the Vampire
Slayer. Thank you. Me too.
They go out into the street and they have this conversation.
Oh my God, it's so intense.
This is 6 months. 6 months.
Yeah. They have so many incredibly intense conversations in this episode.
They do. I know what you're feeling because I'm feeling it too. There's a lot of this. Though I started it to make fun or like to like be like ha ha ha, but there's actually a lot of this in this episode that's like mostly from Faith's angle, but in this instance, in this quote, it's actually Buffy saying like I'm feeling what you're feeling and like we have to share this. But there's a lot of moments in this episode where Faith is like, Buffy, just tell me that you have these feelings too. Just tell me that like sometimes you like get off on killing a vamp. Tell me like. And she says it in like a tone that makes you think she's just like, come on, B, like, I just want you to like have fun with me. But in this episode, watching it tonight, especially, I was just like, oh, this girl just like wants to feel normal with her feelings. Like she's just desperate for Buffy to say, yes, I have these feelings too. You're not alone with these feelings. And Buffy can't give that to her because Buffy is not at that place yet where she's able to like feel comfortable enough to say like, because Faith is right. Like Buffy is fighting these fights. She has these feelings. You see, just like Faith sees, that like Buffy is understanding what Faith is saying, not about killing a man.
Heavens no.
But like slaying and that like they're fighters and they are different from other people. And no, Buffy doesn't think they're above the law, but like they just miss each other. And I don't know, through this episode, I just felt so upset for Faith that like no one could seem to speak her language. We'll get to some people trying to speak her language very soon.
Heavens.
But first, this scene is like we're warriors. We don't get to pass judgment. And Faith says, but we are better than other people.
Right.
And it's like...
She also says, you know, one innocent bystander got caught in the crossfire. How many people do you think we've saved?
Right.
And I think that qualifies as...
Right.
Hell math.
Okay. You're right. When you're right. That is hell math, Jenny. I had no idea that is where you were going with that.
I did not mean to derail you from your deep emotional pursuits.
Please feel free to derail me with the hell math jingle anytime you want, so long as it's warranted with hell math.
Thank you.
You're welcome. No, I was like getting real worked up when you were saying that because it was just an argument. Like Faith's arguments, some of them really have weight to them, and aren't. It isn't just like, oh yeah, Buffy is definitely right and Faith is definitely wrong. I don't know. Watching it, I'm like, okay, these are two distinct perspectives, and Faith obviously did not kill the deputy mayor, on purpose. It was we know for a fact it was an accident, and she doesn't trust the council, which fucking who would?
Of course not.
They're a fucking nightmare.
They're psychopaths.
And she's saying like, listen, I dealt with this shit and I'm going to reconcile it in my heart because I know I was doing the right thing and I know I saved people's lives and it sucks that this happened, but it fucking happened and I'm not going to trust these fucking old men in a fucking castle somewhere to deal with my shit. And
also like based on the prequel novel, Go Ask
Oh my God.
I just see like a lot in Go Ask Malice that really outlines why Faith has so many trust issues.
I see.
And yeah, of course she's like been taking care of herself since she was just a young thing. And I'm sure has every reason to think that, like a more fucking old tweed dudes in a castle. Of course they're gonna fuck
Never
me over.
trust an old tweed dude in a castle.
Never.
That's the rules. Those are the rules. So just a very passionate conversation between two slayers and
who are totally just friends and always have been.
Right.
My favorite part is when Faith is like, nobody's gonna cry over some random bystander, and Buffy's like, I am.
Right.
And then later she does.
She does. But no,
it's
I know.
You know, she's the best, obviously. But...
So then we get to, now this is a pivotal scene. This is what the whole episode is about. The cop, the lieutenant is here. He is interviewing.
Finally, the star of the show.
It just kills me that that's what they said in the description. Okay, so the cop is interviewing Buffy and interviewing Faith, and it's done in this like intercut way where are their stories matching up? Not really.
Not so much.
And they definitely didn't
just hanging. Classic Faith.
And like whatever, this scene is this scene, but this scene really comes to a climax when it like pans runs out of the motel room and
from behind like the payphone in the shadows, stepping out into some very specific lighting. Angel is like, lurk.
Detective Angel.
Yes.
Detective Angel.
That's right. He's putting together all the pieces.
Yes, blood plus blood equals blood. Faith lives in a motel. Those are his. If you opened up Detective Angel's notebook, it would say
his notebook that's like emblazoned with the word clues.
Yeah. It's from like 17th century France. It just says clues
in
burned
French.
into. Yeah, it says however you say clues in. Look it up. How do you say clues in French? Did you look it up?
Des Andes.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you, Jenny.
Des Andes.
I still can't hear you.
Des Andes. That's D-E-S.
That sort of sounds like you're saying these undies. Angel is like, his notebook says these undies. Emblazoned on
Des Andes. I'm doing a bad job.
You're doing such a good job. So, yes, he opened up his clues notebook and he wrote down blood plus blood equals blood. And Faith lives in a motel.
Perfect.
He's on the fucking case.
He's closing in on the criminal.
So then we go to Willow's. Buffy goes to Willow's. And oh my God, the coat that Buffy is wearing.
Wow, so pink.
We thought that big red coat was going to be the biggest that her coats got.
Yeah.
But no, she had one bigger for us. A giant pink coat that she's worn over. And now Willow has these moments all the time.
I love them.
Where she's like, now I'm going to really tell you how I feel.
Yeah.
And you don't know that and she never knows that the other person is going through something different.
Yes.
And that's what happens here. All of a sudden, I'm not cool enough because I can't kill things with my hands, she says, not realizing that her words will trigger
Buffy to cry, as promised. The prophecy that was foretold has come to pass.
And Willow, like Willow's retreat where she's like, oh no, I didn't mean it. I say the wrong things. I'm bad. I am bad. I am so bad. It's just like, no, Willow. Oh, just hold on to it, man. You were doing such a good job.
Yeah, she was doing a really good job.
Great
but then
job.
she turns it around and does a good job and says, you have to tell Giles, obviously.
Yes.
Giles will know what to do.
But you know, Faith realized that she had to tell Giles first that Buffy did it. This is, I'm sad for Faith. I'm just sad for Faith in this episode. That's where I'm at. But I also had a lot of love for Giles in this scene. Like Giles was so quick on his feet.
Yes.
To be dealing.
Very convincing.
Yeah. And he's taken that all in as it comes. He's like, Faith is here. She's lying to me. Oh my God, Buffy's here. Oh my God, Faith just walked out and now Buffy knows that Faith is here. And he makes the decision on the fly to pretend like he believes Faith, to get Faith to leave so that he can tell Buffy, if I had told her I didn't believe her, we would have lost her. And, it's like, man, where were you people for the other
Before,
episodes?
when she was still living in the motel and had no supervision of any kind.
Yeah. You know what he doesn't know, Giles? He doesn't know how far she'll take this charade. Sorry,
I have two things.
Yes.
Two important things. The first is that when Faith huffs out of the library, she makes a swishing sound that she's almost always making because she's always wearing a certain substance. And I thought a good verb, a new verb for Faith was that in this scene she pleathers off.
Ooh, pleathers, The verb is pleathers.
Yes.
I love it.
Because it's the noise that pleather makes
As
it swishes. And then secondarily, Giles says, she may have many talents, but fortunately lying isn't one of them. I made a incomplete but very nice list of some of Faith's talents that I would like to share.
Wow, okay, great, yes.
Sexy dancing.
Oh, yeah.
Slaying.
Yes.
Petty theft.
Ooh.
Dark lipstick application.
Yes.
Cleaning blood out of white tank tops in motel sinks. And learning new words and incorporating them into her vocabulary.
Oh, what's an example?
Like spotting would be a good example. Great, thank you.
So many positive things about Faith Lehane.
Look at her go.
Giles is not going to go to the council because Giles also hates the patriarchy.
And the council.
And well,
Riarchy.
Council Riarchy. Great, Jenny.
Thank you.
But fucking, you know who doesn't hate the council? It's fucking Wesley.
Wesley, how did you not learn your lesson last week that you are very bad at this job and you should be learning from Giles?
Just chill. Just like stay to the background and learn what you need to learn and you'll become a good watcher in time. Like just stop fucking stop being such a dude.
That would be nice.
Yeah. So one thing that that I do like about the scene with Wesley is that the code word is monkey.
And that you have to spell it.
Right, because they're not... Why? What? Yeah, they're all British. It's not like they don't understand what he's saying because of his accent.
Yeah.
Anyway, Xander. Oh, Xander. So my note in this scene is, oh, Xander. Oh, buddy. Just because, you know, he's like, hey, guys, you know, Faith and I are really tight. And I know I shouldn't feel bad for Xander. He's like, you know, he's Xander, but I feel bad for Xander in this
Listen, I feel like
scene.
It's perfectly reasonable to feel bad for Xander in this scene and then the
he
scene
just
that
like
follows.
Yeah,
he's
like,
trying to help.
Yeah, the scene that follows.
And he's trying to like take care.
Right. He is trying to take care of Faith. He's trying to help the Scoobies. He really thinks that the connection that he had with Faith was something that wasn't just like sex and like it really meant something to him when he thinks that it meant something to her. Not something huge, but like enough for it to be a connection. And I have to say that like when we see them in her room and he's saying like, you have to be real with me. Like there was something there. Most of me wants to say like, okay, like Xander like had never had sex before. He probably like laid on some stuff. But there's a part of me that is like, maybe Xander did see a vulnerable side of Faith for a moment before he was kicked to the curb. Like maybe there is some truth to what he is saying. And I don't know. I feel bad. I felt bad for him in the first scene where they're talking about like how to help her because, you know, Buffy's like, oh, sorry, man. But like she literally just makes jokes out of every guy that she sleeps with, which is like harsh.
I feel like you didn't have to say the whole thing, Buffy.
Yeah. And then, right.
But also, does she not take her connections with guys seriously for another specific reason?
For like a lady specific
I don't know,
reason?
Like, maybe she just has other stuff going on. Do carry on.
But yeah, then when we get into this scene with Xander and Faith, it's just like, Xander is doing, it's like Xander also went back in time and listened to our podcast on the Zeppo.
Right.
And was like, you know, you've got a point there. Because he does all of the things that you kind of wanted him to do, that I kind of wanted him to do in the Zeppo. Where he's like, you know what? That's not what I'm fucking here for. This is not what I'm here for. This is not what I want. I'm here because I want to help. Please talk to me. Please trust me, right? I mean, that's like the recurring theme in this episode is everyone saying, please trust me to somebody who does not have the capacity to trust. And this scene is dark.
Yeah, it's very upsetting.
It's very upsetting. I mean, this is a scene of sexual assault that turns very quickly from sexual assault into physical or whatever you call it when you're going to be killed.
Right.
Right.
Murder?
Yeah. I mean, I was watching it thinking like, wow, this is like for sure a scene of sexual assault that's happening and forgetting. I always forget these fucking things. I forgot again that like it doesn't end there, that she then tries to kill Xander. And
right.
Who knows where this is going to go? Luckily, Detective Angel
is there with his trusty shovel.
Faith lives in a motel.
Could I just touch on a couple of the nice things about this scene?
Yeah, I know what one of them is going to be.
Yeah, first of all, when I'm in my seedy motel watching old movies on free TV, I'm always going to be wearing my leather pants, my sheer collared shirt, over a black bra or tankini or something. What do ladies wear?
Tankini, Jenny.
I don't know. And a choker.
You write it
my hair will be up. A bralette.
Yes, a bralette.
Okay.
You know what it's called.
Yes, I do. So, and with my hair up and my dark lipstick perfectly applied and also my eyeliner on, just laying on my stomach with my knees bent and my ankles crossed.
You know what? It's what you're saying is funny. I will give you that. But also, as you were going on and on and on about your outfit that you wear while watching TV, I thought, Faith is really fucked up right now and she's feeling really fucked up. And I feel like Faith's leather and dark lipstick and like all of those things are things that make her feel better about herself and feel good. So it is possible, I think, that Faith was just like, I need to like, it's possible that Faith was like, I'm going to get dressed and I'm going to fucking watch some TV and then I'm going to go out. And I'm going to, like, I'm going to do all my Faith things to keep my mind off of murder.
Right. Go to the bronze the murder away. And then... What the hell is the sculpture over Faith's bed?
Oh my God, I wrote the same thing.
It's like a 3-dimensional sun if like all of the like flames of the sun were coming off in every direction.
It's like full sci-fi. Like there's a whole plot line that we're not seeing here where there's a pod of some kind
that definitely came from the set of a canceled show.
Yeah, 100%.
They were just like dumpster diving in the lot.
So anyhow... This is a complicated scene. This is a traumatic scene. And luckily, Angel steps in with a bat.
Never been so happy to see Angel with a shovel.
A shovel.
The bats later.
Right. Okay. His detective kit has a shovel and a bat inside of it.
Oh my God.
Angel, of course, saves Xander's life because they're boyfriends.
Yes, they love each other.
And takes Faith back to his mansion where he puts her in chains so that he can psychoanalyze her
with all of his many years of psychoanalytical experience.
So this is a
little thin, right? But he's like, I'm 241 years old, and this week that means something in terms of my emotional IQ and my experience. And
it's just like stop making your experience my experience, man.
Yeah.
He's like, once you get, he literally, like, if I had the time, I would go back in the episode and count and write down the amount of ways in which he says, once you kill someone, you've got a taste for it. He says it in like 57 different ways. Once you do it, you've got a taste for it. And once you've killed without remorse, you do it again. And it's like he literally sat with his fucking detective notebook and wrote 14 ways he could say it to say to Faith that now she'll kill for the rest of her. She'll always want to kill again. Like, Angel, that's you, man.
It's really extreme. Yeah, it's not like she doesn't have a soul.
Right. And it's like he's like, I know what it's like to be an animal. It's like, dude, you didn't have a soul and you were a vampire. Like, this is a slayer who accidentally killed somebody. She doesn't have a taste for, whatever. They're going to move with this plot line as they will. But come on, Angel.
I don't know. There's a pretty clear arc in view. Steal a compound bow from the bait and tackle shop. Accidentally kill a man. Become a full-fledged serial murderer.
Yeah. That's what Angel believes. But, Angel's trying to help, and I do like that. I really do. But I just feel it's a little misguided is all I'm saying. And this is more of like Buffy fighting for Faith, right? Like, we need to show her that she can trust us. I'm going to go to her motel room and get some of her things so that she'll see.
Some of her tank tops.
Right. And there's a little cutaway to Trick and the mayor scheming. They're scheming. They're like,
watching that security footage.
They saw us and now they must die. But then we're back to Faith and Angel.
And here Angel says, "You're not much more than a child." Finally, someone noticed that Faith is a child.
And you know what you do when a child is hurting? You chain them up in your mansion and you tell them that they'll want to kill for the rest of their lives now. Sorry, I just have a little bit of an issue with this scene. But it does contain one of Jenny's favorite lines of the whole series.
One of my favorite lines of the whole series. When Angel's like, "You can't imagine the rise of true evil." And Faith's like, "Yeah, well, I hope evil takes MasterCard." Yes! Give me that line.
I think I'm going to go out
and again.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say I think that evil does in fact take MasterCard.
Probably.
Right?
Evil probably just doesn't take American Express because of the higher percentage.
Right, exactly. Then... God fucking damn it, Wesley, is my note. Like, are you fucking kidding me?
Unnecessary,
this is just like
uncalled for.
I've never done that like thing where you take in a feral cat and you slowly get it to trust you. And it's like, but it's like you put the food like 20 feet away and then 10 feet away and you like slowly move the cat. And I just imagine that this is like how it must feel if you're doing that and then something scares the fucking cat right when you're about to make progress and you like have to start right back at the beginning again because somebody like what the fuck? Wesley barges the fuck in. He fucking nets. Well, this part I like. I really got a cackle from netted Angel. And like that was all it took to keep him. He was contained. He was stuck in the net until Buffy got back to the mansion.
They were beating him with crowbars, Kristen.
Okay.
Be reasonable.
Sorry. It's just like in my mind, they just put him in a net and he was like, God damn it.
It's reminiscent of that one time that a door fell on him and he just stayed under it for like an hour.
It's like he's like the strongest vampire of all time. And he's like, a net?
My only weakness.
Anyway.
So that happens. And then, of course, Faith escapes within minutes.
Of course. She has a nice, I'm going to pop this guy's head like a grape. If you don't fucking get me out of these cuffs, you ding dong, is like what she would say if she were me. And then she jumps out of the back of the patrol truck.
And does like a roll, I believe.
Real good. Stunt work.
Great.
Done by
Delightful.
By Faith's stunt person in this scene. And then, we go to the library where Willow is asking the big questions.
Right. Like, why do we want to help Faith?
Right. She killed a man. She blamed Buffy. And that's, I think, Willow's biggest point.
And also, she slept with Xander. That seems to be a stinging point.
But I think Willow has some grounds to say.
Oh, yeah.
She's blamed. She tried to frame Buffy for murder, which maybe we don't want to have that happen. That seems bad. But everybody else is sort of like, no, we're going to stick this through and we believe in her and we're all she has, which is true.
Right. And then bruised and beaten Wesley shows up. And my main question is, how can Buffy wear a leopard print trench coat at a time like this? It is far too whimsical for the occasion. She has certainly plenty of other trench coats.
Maybe that one makes her feel powerful. Maybe that's her power coat.
Maybe.
You're sad about it?
No, okay, fine. I'm into it.
Something that I enjoyed about this scene was that, they're all like, I'm going to do this. You guys go here, whatever. And Angel's like, I'll take the airport.
There's an airport?
So random. Like, okay. And so then I just pictured fucking stupid Angel, like at gate A2, being like, standing behind the.
Have you seen a girl who wears a lot of pleather?
Yeah, just like listening intently with his, enhanced vampire ears for the sound of pleathering. Anyhow, Buffy, luckily, is the one who gets the docks, because that, of course, is where our Faith is.
Oh, yes, it gets you gone, she said previously.
Yes, and Faith is on her way out of town, and she sees Buffy. They have this exchange where, again, this is kind of what I was referring to earlier, where she's like, just tell me that you feel these feelings. I know you feel these feelings. And she gets Buffy so mad that Buffy punches her in the face. And what does she say? You know what she says?
She says, there's my girl.
There's my girl.
How romantic.
How romantic indeed. She just wants an emotional fucking connection. And from Buffy right now, she is not able to receive the trust. She's not able to receive the care. She's really only able to receive like this high level of emotion. Like this punch to the face is like, makes her feel something.
Yeah. Also, I feel like this like seeing me living my own way like tempts you. Line of reasoning that she's like going down is like pretty interesting.
She just wants to know that she's not a weirdo is what I think.
Oh, she wants to feel seen.
Yeah, I think she wants to feel seen, and Buffy can't really give that to her the way that she's after it.
Certainly not right now, because she's trapped under a crate that just fell.
Right?
Very similar to Angel. Always getting trapped under stuff.
Faith pulls one of her classic moves. We saw her use this move with a garbage can earlier in the season, but now it's vamp in a packing can of some kind. It's great. It's a great move. It's always my favorite move. I love when she puts a vampire in a can which she does here. Trick is here, and Trick has wrapped a red cord around Buffy's neck. It's really upsetting, and he's like dragging her away by this like leash of sorts.
Gross.
And he has this comment, right, that like again, it's just like this side. I don't know. I mean, we've talked about Trick and race on the show at some length in other episodes. And this is just like one of those moments where he says to Buffy, as he's about to kill her and drink her blood, I hear once you've tasted a Slayer, you never go back. Which is like someone in the writer's room was like, ooh, I know what would be funny. You know how like there's that phrase, once you go black, you never go back? We should just do a play on that because it'll be funny. It's like,
no. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hard pass.
And Trick dies in this scene. And it's like, when you think about it, which I'm just doing right now, one of Trick's first lines was, along the lines of like that there's strictly the Caucasian persuasion in the Dale. It was like about race. Then we've gotten a couple little things here and there. No depth at all into those queries. No, his character.
No, he just like shows up and is like, there sure are a lot of white people around.
Right. And then his last fucking line is like a play on this. Like, it's just, the show does a lot of things that are really good, but it really misses the mark when it comes to race in just numerous ways.
Yes.
And this is not, this moment taken in and of itself is not like this huge affront. It's just the sort of the whole picture that we get here of Trick's time with us.
Yeah.
That I just feel could have been better. And I think Trick deserved a better last line. And R.I.P. Trick.
R.I.P. Trick, you will be missed.
You will be
missed.
You
were a
and
really
your
fun part of the show.
Yes, you and your velvet jackets, your love for Marmaduke, your service to the mayor, and the way that his idiosyncrasies, what do you call those?
Idiosyncrasies.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh. You and how you enjoyed the idiosyncrasies of the mayor.
Yeah.
All of it. I will miss it.
Also his commitment to being a modern vampire.
Yes. Oh
Loved
my God.
it.
Remember his legacy, Slayerfest 98?
Yeah. Of course.
Bye, Trick.
So Trick is gone, and as soon as he is turned to dust, there's plenty of open space for two Slayers to share meaningful eye contact.
Right? Because like last episode, there was an eyebrow raise when Buffy staked a vamp for Faith, and now we're getting some meaningful eye contact after Faith stakes a vamp for Buffy. Yes, and it is.
Yes, it's just a thing.
It is all sexualized joking aside.
Yeah.
This is a huge deal, which is what they're discussing in the following scene. It's like Faith tried to kill Xander, but Faith definitely just saved Buffy's life.
Right.
Maybe it's not a total loss. Maybe there's still a way to reach her.
And Buffy's not going to give up on her.
Right. Buffy is not going to give up on her. Also, I am not going to give up on Giles's thermos, which is gorgeous.
Nice thermos.
It's like that man knows how to pick out glassware and thermosware and ties and tweed.
Yes.
He knows some nice things when he sees them. Anyway, Buffy is not going to give up on Faith.
Except maybe she should.
Maybe. So this episode ends with Faith showing up at the mayor's doorstep and pulling, I don't like that it's happening, but it is a pretty
sick move.
Pretty fucking sick move. Hey, you sent a guy to kill me? Yeah, that guy's dead, so you got a job opening?
Unbelievable.
Like, come on.
Only Faith.
That's pretty great.
She's got a lot going for her.
She does.
There's one thing we haven't talked about yet.
What's that?
Sexual tension award.
Sexual tension.
Yes.
Who's got it and who doesn't?
Well, we talked long and hard about this one because I don't think there's a clear front runner.
Unless there is.
And the more we thought, the more we realized. That
we followed the clues.
We followed the clues
and discovered. We've really put it together.
That we'd like to give the Sexual Tension Award to Angel and his leather-bound clues notebook.
Detective Angel.
Oh, his Des Indices notebook?
Yes, that's correct, Jenny. That Detective Angel, it's sort of a mini jingle, right? It's like a a wisp of a jingle.
It's a fraction of a jingle.
And we're gonna send that to all of our patrons. So if you're our patron and you didn't know until now that what you needed was
a Detective Angel.
Detective Angel. It's good.
Oh,
It's really nice, Jenny.
Thank you
Jenny
very
just
much.
whipped that up in just moments.
Out of thin air.
Yeah, she said, I don't know if I have time to wait a second. And
Brang.
then she thwanged on her guitar with a cackle and off she went to the races. Anyhow, congratulations to Angel and his Days on This notebook.
Such an exciting time for the two of them.
Yes, trophy is in the mail. Thank you very much. And I think we're rounding the bend here.
Yes, I think that's about it.
Yes.
I think it's time for me to tell you that I'm Jenny Owen Youngs.
Yeah, if you haven't figured it out by now.
Get hip to the fact that I am Jenny Owen Youngs. And when I'm not making this podcast, I'm making songs. You can hear some of them at jennyowenyoungs.com/buffering, where I have curated a special little playlist of some of my works for you. Also, you can give me a shout on Twitter any old time at Jenny Owen Youngs.
I was whispering through your thing because I was going to say that's so nice that you made a little playlist for everyone.
Oh, thank
Isn't that
you.
friendly of you?
It was my pleasure.
You can find out more about me at my website, KristenNoeline.com. That's KristinnOeline. It's also the spelling of my Twitter handle and my Instagram handle. So you can go to all of those places or any of those places or none of those places if you don't like me. I understand. You can't like everybody. You can also learn about my work with the LGBTQ community at everyoneisgay.com and mykidisgay.com.
Buffering the Vampire Slayer is on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at BufferingCast. And you can always drop us an email at bufferingthevampireslayer@gmail.com.
Yeah, and if you're a patron, you better get those emails into us now because we're going to be doing a mailbag very soon. And
imminently.
So just so you know, when we do the mailbags, even if you're not a patron, if we read your email or we answer your question, we email you the link to the patron-only mailbag so that you don't have to worry that we've read your email and the only way you can access it is by donating money to us.
Right.
If we read your email, you will get a link to the episode as well. And I think that brings us to how you can support us.
Oh, yes.
Is in a few ways. You can, of course, rate and review us on iTunes. Many of you have, and we would appreciate even more of you doing so because it helps people find the podcast and helps us all kind of stay together as a little community over here. There's a big community over here. We're getting bigger and bigger. And you can also, of course, go to our Patreon page, as we've mentioned. All of that can be found on our website, bufferingthevampireslayer.com. You can buy our merch. And a way to support Time's Up, an organization bringing awareness to a lot of the sexual assault, sexual abuse, sexual harassment happening across the world, is by buying one of our handwritten lyric sheets. You can find those at bufferingthevampireslayer.com/greatergood. We have added 5 this week, and we will be donating the entirety of those proceeds to Time's Up in Eliza Dushku's name.
Thank you for listening. You are beautiful. We care about you.
Oh, I have one more thing to say.
I wasn't even done with my compliments.
I'm
Go
sorry.
on.
I'm sorry. I was so afraid you were going to say until next time, and then I wouldn't be able to take us back ever again. But what we didn't mention is that in writing the song this week, so we, as I mentioned at the top of the episode, we had recorded Consequences, the podcast, before we read Eliza's story, before Eliza came forward with her story. But we hadn't started the song yet. And so when we wrote the song, we wrote it for the episode. That was the first thing. But as we wrote it, Jenny and I had conversations about keeping the language a little bit looser so that not only would it be maybe applicable to the episode, but that it might be applicable to what many of us are all going through right now. Many of us are, seeing other people come forward with their stories. Many of us are seeing people not be believed when they share their stories. There's a lot happening. So you can listen to the song a couple of ways, as is the case with any song. But know that when we went into this one, we definitely had that heavy on our mind, and it influenced the lyric choices and a lot else.
Absolutely.
Okay, now you may say what you were going to say, Jenny. I'm so sorry.
I actually was done with my compliments, but I wasn't done with saying, till next time, woo, Detective Angel.
Nobody can tell you what to do. But I don't wanna watch the deeper, darker get a hold of you. Dodge it for a while, you still get bit. It's only gonna eat you up if you hold on to it. Hard is hard and right is right. You can't just bury it inside. Sometimes the truth will be the demon that you fight. 'Cause hard is hard and right is right. Maybe it's the very hardest thing, trying to understand the truth and then who you can trust with it. I know that the world we live in now is made to make you feel like you can't speak up anyhow. Hard is hard and right is right. You can't just bury it inside. Sometimes the truth will be the demon that you fight. 'Cause hard is hard and right is right. Feeling like you're out here on your own, but everything you're facing you don't have to face alone. Ready to do what you need me to, even if it's only just to listen and believe you. Hard is hard and right is right. I'm your partner in this fight. We won't give up on you. You're strong and full of life. 'Cause hard is hard and right is right. Hard is hard and right is right.
Dana Schwartz, and this is Rise or Die, the official companion podcast for Peacock's original series, Those About to Die. On this podcast, I go behind the scenes with the show's cast and creators to learn how they brought their brutal vision of Rome to life.
Gosh, people will freak out.
Rise or Die launches on July 18th. Watch or listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Do you know what lies within nothing?
No.
Do you know where it ends? Do you want to know?
Yes.
Counterbalance, a high fantasy audio drama. Season 2, coming 15th of October 2023. Learn more on trilunas.com.